So I call this the Uncle John Lecture, trying to share with young people, young adults, and adults of every age, really everyone, to understand how to be a whole brain person, trust yourself, listen to yourself, and engage your seeing, hearing, feeling, understanding, so that you can perceive what you're hearing. I think that life is really a case of listening. What you listen to and how you listen to it determines the choices that you make in life, that we all make in life. There are a lot of people like me in the world, and I think it's important to share this information because it's useful not only for artists or children at risk, but as well for everybody, in that we need to all be whole brain people. And how do you become a whole brain person in a world that asks you to be a student of see the problem, understand, and solve the problem? A healthy human being sees, hears, and feels, and then understands. And we must go through that whole entire human experience to truly understand and be in balance with ourselves. I call this the Uncle John Whole Brain Lecture. Although the brain isn't physiologically set up like this, functionally, this is how we work. So left brain, right brain. And if we call the left brain fact nation, what's the right brain? The right brain is image nation. In the left brain, we have facts. We have science. We have math. We have logic. We have technique. We have rules, etc. In the image nation, we have senses, language, poetry, color. The left brain is basically male, and the right brain is basically female. Although, as we'll see, there are female parts in the male and male parts in the female, as always. The way the left brain works is by repetition. Repetition, rules, and technique. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. You learn those rules by repetition and absorption. And as you learn all of the rules of logic, math, science, geometry, and so on, you can integrate and share various rules and various subjects to be creative and build a logic of science. Right brain is basically female or receptive. I say the left brain is more male because you need to be more foregoing, more outgoing, to apply yourself, to memorize, to be active in the pursuit of learning the rules, the technique, and the methods. The whole purpose of this lecture is to help you understand, or anyone understand, how their brain works so that they can learn to make choices, right? Right brain is the brain of imagery, although there certainly is imagery as well in the left brain. And this is the midbrain. So how is it that the right brain is both male and female? There's an active and a passive part. And there are active and passive parts. And that's the willingness to learn, right? And so that means an openness to listening. A healthy human being sees, hears, feels, and then understands. What happens in most public schools and contemporary society is that children, all of us, are asked to see the problem, solve the problem. So we're really asked to live wholly in our left brain without engaging the whole of our body. A healthy human being, as I said, sees, hears, feels, and then understands. The active part of the left brain is learn your multiplication tables, learn the rules. You have to be open, you have to be willing to learn, you have to be with someone you can learn from or in a situation that you can be open to. So the passive part is allowing the information to come in. The willingness part, the active part, is to go after it, to pay attention, to focus, and then to integrate that information into one's own being for use and application. What I want to teach about is the right brain and the use of the right brain for receptivity and creativity. The active part of the right brain is imagination. So, how does the right brain work? What's the active part? What's the passive part? The active part is go there. Go to my imagination. I want to draw a flower. And what kind of flower? I want to draw a sunflower. I want to draw a rose. I want to draw an iris. So see that flower. See that iris. Okay, then you see Van Gogh's iris. Okay, but then and those are all active pursuit. You're going after something in your imagination. But then there's a receptive or passive part that's really important. There are all kinds of images in this world. Images. There is memory, and those memories can be based on happy or sad. There's imaginative images, and there are uncontrolled or hallucinatory images, but there's also eidetic images. And for me, the eidetic image is a living image. And I learned about the eidetic image from Dr. Akhtar Ahsan, AHSEN, who was a psychological genius, psychiatrist, and a brilliant author as well. The eidetic or living image is what we're concerned about today, because the eidetic or living image connects each and every one of us to greater consciousness, or what I call the living universe. So let's go back to that iris that we were thinking about. You can see Van Gogh's iris, you can see the iris in your grandmother's backyard, but what do you do with that iris? What do you do with that as a painting? Do you just replicate, duplicate what's been done before? Or how do you make that flower, that painting your own? And that's where the passive or receptive part of the right brain becomes so crucial, so important. Allowing yourself to be open, to access, to be accessed by the living or eidetic universe. Close your eyes, see the iris. It's yellow, okay, yellow iris. What's the light like? What's the wind like? Is it blowing? Is it bending? Is it straight up? Is it by itself? Is it with other flowers? I can say, well, I think I want to put this and this and this. When I say I want to put this X and Y, when I want to put more other colored flowers with the yellow iris, that's active and engaging. But if I want that image to come alive, I don't go actively after it. I sit, I wait, I look at it, I listen, I hear, I feel, I see the yellow iris, I wait, I wait, I wait. Sometimes I wait a day, sometimes I wait 2 days. I can see something come, something behind it to include and use in the composition of the painting. That's a simple painting. So what are some other tools of imagination? How do I use the allowing part of myself, the passive, the receptive part of myself to fulfill or complete itself? What guides us? In the long run, what guides us is inspiration. And that's in everything. Whether one is a scientist or an artist, an author or a chef or an engineer or a therapist, what guides us is our inspiration towards creation, creating, newness, solving a problem solving, or sometimes money's even the motivation to make a life for ourselves. How do we find our way to inspiration? Two ways. Receptivity. And one of the big tools of receptivity and creativity is intuition. Intuition is trusting oneself in the dark, trusting oneself in the unknown, waiting for the eidetic, for the living quality of receptivity to birth itself in us. We're all connected to the universe, individually, by our own thread, by our own energy, by our own being. And the greater consciousness can develop, inform, educate, and expand each and every one of us. Right, in a certain way, we catch and return. We receive imagery, inspired imagery, and return it to the universe, return it back to the society. If we believe in ourselves and we believe in each other, I can get an inspired image, create the painting that's inspired by that image, and allow it to be something I put into the social framework, the here and now of art and culture, hoping that it has some effect, some beauty, some meaning to someone else other than myself for the good of overall consciousness and humanity.